Hey everyone, this is Ms. Moffat from across the Litiverse, and here we are at long last. It's time for Dewey's 24-hour readathon, the 10th anniversary edition. The goal today is to read as much as you can for as long as you can, and to celebrate all things bookish too. Right now it's about 7:35 a.m. my time, and the readathon starts at 8 a.m. in my time zone. So I'm gonna make some breakfast, I'm definitely gonna make some tea for myself, and I'm gonna get started on reading. Oh, and I do need to make a side trip to my library this morning. So my local library allows you to put holds on books before they even arrive in-house, and I tend to abuse this system to no end. I've had about 6 books on hold for half of the year, and I've gotten a little lazy with checking in on them. Thank goodness I checked last night, because not only do I have 2 books on hold, but one of the holds expires today. I need to get there first thing in the morning before they can find me for being a jerk with my holds. I totally created this problem for myself, so please don't feel bad for me. Given that it's Saturday morning, I thought I'd start the readathon with my Uncle Scrooge collection. You can't beat Saturday morning cartoons, am I right? I kinda wish I had some sugary cereal this morning just so I could complete the childhood nostalgia. Oh, and before I forget, I will leave a link to my Dewey's 24-hour readathon TBR list as well. I already think I'm not going to adhere to this TBR list, especially given that I have library holds. We can compare how far off the mark I get. On that note, let's get some reading done. This is where I'm planning on getting most of my reading done today. Very cozy, very comfy. That is a delightfully warm blanket that keeps me warm during the Canadian winters. So I'm looking forward to hibernating and doing some reading, and also hanging out with Uncle Scrooge. It's 9:40 a.m. and my library holds are already secured. First I picked up Warcross by Mary Lou, and this was the book that I would have gotten the fine on. I know YA BookTube was positively buzzing about this book a while ago, and I'm a sucker for bounty hunters and immersive games as well. I don't want to find out too much about this book because I want it to be a surprise as well. Next I got Side Hustle, From Idea to Income in 27 Days. That is a bold promise, Chris Thibault, and I am curious. I do like the idea of having a secondary source of income, if only to have that sense of job security as well. I often associate money with security, and I don't know if that's entirely healthy, but money does offer you more choices and more options in the long run. Fun fact! I was the first hold on this book, and it turns out my mom is the second hold. This is not the first time something like this has happened either. I might read the first chapter of this today. I am already forsaking my TBR pile. Oh my goodness. Worst ever. Okay, so it's almost noon around now, and I finally finished the Uncle Scrooge collection, and it was just as fantastic as I had hoped. I'm glad I started with Uncle Scrooge, if only because it seems like an appropriate Saturday morning kind of read. As an interesting side note, I found this stuck in the pages of my book. The weird thing about this one was it wasn't stuck to the inside cover, it was actually stuck to a page, like one of the comics in the book. So I'm glad it didn't rip the page or rip any of the ink off with it, so that was quite an interesting discovery this morning. One of the things I've always liked about Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck is just the kind of adventures that they find themselves in. A lot of it involves Uncle Scrooge kind of pulling from his past adventures in order to protect his fortunes in the present, or the lengths at which he goes to in order to protect his fortunes also leads him into crazy new adventures where he might be sailing to a new island, or he might be discovering the lost city of Atlantis by accident. But you know you're always going to get a really adventurous story whenever you check out Uncle Scrooge. A lot of the one-page comics in here just kind of explore how fundamentally cheap Uncle Scrooge is, which was pretty hilarious too. And the longer comics are the ones that get more into his backstory to show you how he actually amassed his fortunes in the first place, and the lengths to which he has to go now in order to protect his fortunes from the Beagle Boys and from everyone else who wants to steal it from him. If anything, Uncle Scrooge is quite resilient and quite stubborn, which serves him quite well on his adventures. So that is book 1 done for the readathon, and I am gonna have some lunch because I am absolutely starving. I'm a little unsure about what I want to start next. I'm kind of leaning towards Skeleton Key just because I know it's a bit of a longer series. But then the volumes themselves seem a little shorter, so I might be able to get through them a bit quicker. But I think I'm at the point where I'm going to start splicing series together to avoid any kind of reading burnout. But right now I'm going to have my leftover pasta for lunch because I am super hungry, so I will see you a bit later. And Dewey's 24-hour readathon continues. So it's about 2:20 p.m. my time, and I've finished the first volume of Skeleton Key, and I'm about halfway through volume 2 of Skeleton Key. And I have to admit, I don't think I'm liking it. But I should probably give you a little context about Skeleton Key in the first place, or more precisely how I came to Skeleton Key. Back in 2012, when I started at the comic book store that I'm currently working at, there was a one-shot that came out for Skeleton Key, I think around Halloween 2012. So as you can see, the artwork was very manga influenced, which definitely speaks to me and my love of manga. That's the back of the comic there. And there's an example of some of the interior art as well. So just very cute, very fluffy, very adorable. Definitely speaks to me and the style of art that I enjoy. And these were all short stories, which was just kind of like a nice refreshing change from the comics that I usually read. But the original comics had more of a zine art style, and it was published in the early 90s, and you can definitely sense that from the artwork. This is what Tamsin, the main character, looked like in the first issue, whereas that's Tamsin from the Skeleton Key that I first came to. The story's also just kind of all over the place and introducing a lot of characters that I don't really care about that much. So I think right now I'm going to set that series aside so I can start in on some of the other books that I have on the go. And I do know that Skeleton Key's art and writing evolves quite a bit over each volume. It's just I wasn't expecting such a huge departure from the one-shot versus the series itself. So that's a little disappointing, but I mean I do have a lot of other books on the go, so I can definitely pick up one of those and check out something cool too. But right now I'm getting a little bit sleepy, so I'm gonna go on a walk because it's gotten really sunny outside. So I thought I'd go just on like a quick 40-minute hike just to kind of get some energy back too. And I also need to start packing because I'm heading to Paul's tonight where we're going to continue the readathon together. Hooray! Alright, so it's about 3:30 p.m. right now and I'm just getting started on packing a bag because I'm heading over to Paul's in a bit. I've been debating which books I should bring over and I think I need to bring one book in particular. Just for some context, in Canada we had a prominent figure pass away this week. His name was Gord Downie and he was the frontman of the Tragically Hip, a uniquely Canadian band. He announced back in 2016 that he was terminally ill and he passed away this week. I don't know that I can adequately explain what he meant to Canadians and to Canada in general, so I'm going to share a story. The Tragically Hip's last concert happened during the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio. The CBC, which is the Canadian equivalent of the BBC, had won a multi-million dollar deal to have exclusive rights to air the Olympic Games that year. For that concert, the CBC decided to stop airing the Olympic Games that night, and they aired the 2.5 to 3 hour concert in its entirety commercial free. And they set up an area in Rio where Canadian athletes could watch the final concert as well. So yeah, we lost someone big this week. In Gord Downie's honor, I thought I'd reread some of the poems from his book Coke Machine Glow, which is a poetry companion to his first solo work. It includes the song lyrics from this album and a whole host of other fantastic writing from Downie. Given the sales of his album, this has also been one of the best-selling poetry collections by a Canadian author ever. I'm gonna surprise Paul with this one. I don't think he knows that I own this. I filmed my TBR list for Dewey's 24-hour readathon before I found out about Gord Downie, and I feel like I've got to give him some kind of tribute for this readathon as well. As for my other books, you'll have to wait until I get to Paul's place to find out what else I'm bringing. Mwahaha. And through the magic of time lapses, I'm now at Paul's place. And he's also provided me a pen to wave about since I forgot to bring one of my own. So as I discussed at my place, I hadn't yet decided what books I was bringing to Paul's place, but now I have decided, so I'm going to share that with you while Paul is cooking dinner for the two of us. So first off, I brought Maid Sima since he's very supportive of my enjoyment of shoujo manga. I also brought Trees with me and I'm hoping to finish this one, A, because he's the one who lent it to me so I can finally return it, and B, we can actually talk about it since apparently it's also got a lot of very kind of complicated thoughts to it too. And last, this was not actually on my TBR list, but I was reading it before the readathon and I'm kind of wanting to finish it just because I really enjoy this series. But I'm reading the Durarara light novel volume 1. It's sticking really close to the anime, which I'm quite enjoying because I love the anime myself and it's making me want to go back and watch the anime as well, so I'm probably going to try and read some more of that. It was also on my TBR list for 2017, which means once I finish this, that's another book I get to cross off, and I'm one step closer to reading 20 of my TBR books for this year. And last, I also brought this book with me, and I haven't told him about it yet, so I'm not sure if he's going to be on camera or not, but if he is, then perhaps I will show him on camera and we can see his reaction to it. On that note, I'm going to start in on some reading, and my gent is going to finish making us dinner, so we're going to have a very tasty pad thai before the two of us start reading as well, so that should be delightful. Alright, another random time lapse here. As I'm filming this, Dewey's 24-hour readathon is officially over. Paul and I ended up having dinner, I cried once again while watching This Is Us, and then we got down to some reading. I finished Trees Volume 1 and it was just as eerie and compelling as I expected, and Paul checked out Coke Machine Glow, and I'm blanking on the other book he checked out. Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, and I read more from the first Durarara light novel, which I am thoroughly enjoying right now. So to recap, I finished Uncle Scrooge, Only a Poor Old Man, Skeleton Key Volume 1, and Trees Volume 1, and I'm getting very close to finishing the Durarara light novel Volume 1. I have to admit, I think I need to approach this readathon differently going forward. I kept getting stressed out that I wasn't reading enough, when really this ought to be a celebration of books. I always get hung up on the idea that I'm not doing enough, when really I should be celebrating the fact that I've been able to set aside a whole day to reading, which is something I love. Do you find readathons stressful at all? Do you put too much weight on needing to read tons of gear? I'm curious to know how many people have set themselves up with impossible TBRs here. If you like this vlog format and you want to see more of it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. As always, thank you for watching and make sure to subscribe for more videos from across the Litiverse. On that note, signing off.